Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the SubQuery Customer Series, where we talk to some of the customers, some of our biggest customers using SubQuery day to day in their production applications. And today I'm joined by the team from Fearless Wallet, one of the most well-known wallets out there in the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. I'm joined by a lot of the team, so I'll let you guys introduce yourselves to the viewers of this.
Yeah, great. Thanks, James, for inviting us. Yeah, my name is Sergey, and I'm a product owner and team lead in Fearless Wallet. Actually, I'm responsible for managing all the processes and communicating with partners, with customers. Yeah, and actually. My responsibility is also to develop our roadmap. So that's all from my side right now. Just we can switch to another uh, team member.
Yeah. Hi, James. Thank you for inviting. My name is Alex. I'm responsible for leading our developers in Fearless Wallet. I do some supervision, reviewing what our guys do on an everyday basis, and solving some complex architectural issues we experience sometimes, including SubQuery as well. But in general, that's it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Boris. I'm integrations engineer / systems analyst in Soromitsu, and I'm in charge of SubQuery project development for the Fearless Wallet.
Nice. It was great to meet you guys all. And Boris, you're probably the person that knows the most about SubQuery in the whole group as integrations engineer. So tell us quickly, first question, for those that don't know about Fearless Wallet, for those that haven't really been in the Polkadot ecosystem, for the few that aren't aware or using it on a daily basis, what is Fearless Wallet? What is the whole idea behind it?
Okay, thanks. Probably that's my turn to answer the question. Yeah, without a doubt, Fearless Wallet is the easiest way to interact with up-to-date blockchain and crypto technologies on the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystems. Um, Fearless Wallet is not custodial and fully decentralized, so users have full control of their accounts, assets, and funds, along with the best user interface and experience. We provide our users with a rich set of DeFi features, such as staking, crowd loan contribution, and so on. Our product is currently growing and developing really fast. Many cool features are right around the corner. Fearless Wallet is supported by the Kusama Treasury. However, our development team is a part of Soromitsu. Soromitsu is a Japanese technology company delivering blockchain-based solutions for enterprises, universities, and governments alike. And probably Alex could explain what Fearless Wallet looks like from the engineering point of view.
Yeah. Thanks, Sergey. Well, from engineering point of view, the Fearless Wallet is very complex. You might see there are just few screens in the application itself, and probably regular developers could say that it's not that hard and not long to implement such an application, but under the hood, there is a lot of challenges our team experiences on an everyday basis. And the more parachains we add, more complicated becomes to maintain common app architecture, because every network is not being created just in case, but it's some special feature to their infrastructure. Thus, it might change some internal significantly. So in some cases, we cannot just put this network to our application and have it just running. And every time we revise them and apply separate handling, which increases app complexity exponentially. Also, our staking feature of Fearless Wallet is very large in size. I believe it is the biggest part of our application, which covers more than half of our code base. And in the meantime, we expect to finalize our analytics functionality for staking in the near future, which is exclusively built with SubQuery as a data source. So that's all.
Excellent. Yeah, no, what you're telling me about the difficulties of handling all these parachains, you know, it's a common issue right there, out there in the Polkadot ecosystem. So how is Fearless Wallet addressing the diversity of all these parachains, you know, one launching almost every week from here on out?
Yeah,
Well,
actually,
yeah, I might answer.
yeah.
Well, firstly, we are trying to just add this network to our kind of remote server, which is handled by GitHub repository, which is open source, and everyone can see what's going on inside. And we just try to launch our application and see how it behaves with this network included. Sometimes, if it's some very basic parachain, it works just fine. But sometimes we need to do some changes to our code base. We see what errors we receive using this parachain. We look at this runtime metadata to see what changed. Probably we need to add some special behavior to swap some types between each other, or probably add some new types which haven't been introduced yet. And just this way we do for every parachain. And the more we add, the easier it becomes to us to add new parachains. So like for now, it's like 20 parachains in Fearless Wallet already, and I believe the next ones will be much easier and faster to add to our application.
And
Maybe
always
Sergey can add something here.
Yeah, I can add something. Yeah, we actually, as Alex have already mentioned, we're moving step by step. So we already can handle most parachains in terms of balances, transfers, and transaction histories. Actually, we have some current challenges like support, Moonbeam, Moonriver support. And as you probably know, these parachains are like a gatekeeper between the Polkadot and Ethereum ecosystem. So it's necessary to implement different cryptography accounts and data types. Fortunately, there are a substrate parachain, and Fearless Wallet can interact with these chains with substrate APIs as well. Another challenge is Kintsugi parachain integration. This project uses irregular extrinsics and storage requests for balances and transfers. So we need to customize our regular flows and modules to be able to support them. Yeah, probably that's all regarding current challenges and how we can manage all these parachains on Kusama and Polkadot. Yeah.
It's interesting as you go through and add new parachains, what you mentioned, Alex, in terms of you just connect to them and try it out. I imagine in many cases, Fearless Wallet are the first to ever try these out outside of the core development team that they have. Do you often give feedback to the parachain teams themselves about issues you find or how to resolve these bugs with connecting to and transacting within the chains?
Well, yeah. At first, we're trying to do it by ourselves, and if we're stuck at some point, we just talk to our partners, these parachains, and ask for some help. We providing what errors we do receive and what we have already tried to do, and what we receive from their nodes, and what behavior we do experience using their parachain. And yeah, in most cases, they're ready to help every day. And thanks to them for doing that, because it's a win-win situation for both of us. So yeah,
I imagine
it works this way.
I'd imagine they very much appreciate the feedback and the support that you guys provide them. Let's change tack slightly here and talk about less the engineering and more about the design. So Fearless Wallet, inherently there's a lot of complexity in Polkadot. There's a lot of different parachains, all operating in slightly different ways, but also very similar. How do you kind of design Fearless Wallet to take this into account? What is your thinking behind that?
Yeah. Actually, the main factor we consider when designing Fearless Wallet is the user. We work hard to make sure that the user experience is top-notch through a clean and intuitive interface that is both convenient and responsive, as well as built on quality code and a scalable architecture. We are able to fulfill many of the community's needs. We also make sure that we are up to date with the ecosystem trends, which change very quickly, by the way. So we need to stay on top of everything. Yeah, maybe Alex can add something regarding our technological stack. So because I guess the most important thing for now is scalability, because we are expecting a lot of new features, and it's important to include it in our current architecture.
Yeah, thanks. So when we had just a few networks like Polkadot, Kusama, and their test networks, West End and Cocoa, it was much easier than now because we
Life
have
was
added
much easier,
more
wasn't it,
networks.
back in those days?
Yeah.
But a lot less exciting than it was now, than it is now.
Yeah. So right now we have to think every time that this count of parachains may increase significantly in the nearest future. Maybe in next half year we will have 2 or maybe 3 times more of parachains. We don't know yet, but this makes us to rethink every part of our application to be written not just to work, but to work properly, to be scalable in the future. So maybe this sometimes increases our schedules, and we move our deadlines and release not at the time we wanted to do it, but this is all just to make sure that everything works good. Because right now, when you, for example, enter the main screen of our application, you see all your parachains and all your balances in every parachain. And this is kind of complex issue because maybe it's not so hard if you think about using some centralized exchanges like Binance, where you can see hundreds of networks and your balances in these networks. But these applications use their own backend servers, which accumulate data before that and provide the full list. So applications shouldn't do any hard logic. They just make one connection to the server, receive the full list of balances, and that's it. In our case, it's not like that. And for every network, we should maintain the actual connection. And the more networks we have, the more connections we should maintain. So for example, if we will have like 100 parachains at some point in the future, we might experience very big problems because handling 100 concurrent connections is not that easy. Your phone, if you're not on Wi-Fi or you don't have some kind of good connection like LTE or 5G, you will experience very long time loading every network. And so we always think to how make it properly, and we do some scalable services inside our application, which looks at what parachains you actually see right now on your screen. So if you don't see some parachain which is in the end of the list, we just don't work with that. We use some cached value which were received from previous app launch probably. And so every time you see some screen and the data you see on the screen only that data is being received from the networks. So if you don't see something on the screen, it's not working right now. So we're trying always to maintain our memory to load and unload some parts of application. And that's all have been introduced from Parachains in our application. And this is just the one portion of what we do in the Fearless Wallet. I believe we have such experience at every part of application where we should handle such complex scalability issues.
No, excellent. It's a very good challenge that you guys have to rise up and face. So you mentioned before that staking is one of those big areas that you're focusing a lot on. This multi-chain issue is another one. How are you using SubQuery in your platform? How does SubQuery help solve some of these problems, make your life a bit easier, but also make the user experience that you talked about so much better for your end users?
Well, currently in what we have in the stores, we use the SubQuery only for history of transactions for every parachain. But for staking feature, we are going to introduce the new analytics feature, which is exclusively built using SubQuery. And there you will see the new set of screens where you can look in the past, see what rewards did you receive for participating in staking. You can have some cool diagrams. You can filter it from date to date, and this all is built with SubQuery.
That's going to be amazing for most users. A lot of users right now are looking for staking opportunities, and I know you can earn a lot of rewards from networks like Moonbeam right now from staking. So are you going to try cover as many of these different parachains as possible in your new staking features?
Yeah, actually, we have some kind of schedule, but it's not obvious question because we have a contract with Moonbeam River Foundation and community. So, and in terms of the contract, we are going to support their collator staking. Yeah, but regarding other parachains like Akala, Star, and their like Kusama parachains, they're Kusama parachains. Yeah, we should take part in their grant programs to support their staking features.
Yeah, definitely. And in a way, a lot of these networks haven't yet launched, their full collator support, their collator rewards. So in a way, you're kind of as usual, Fearless Wallet is going to be there before most of the market kicks off, which is excellent, and shows how close you are with the community, how embedded you are with what's going on, and how you're rising to the challenge that is being posed by having all these different parachains. What was your experience like building your SubQuery project for the historic transfer events across all the different chains, and also the upcoming work you're doing on the staking balances?
Oh yeah, so yeah, I think as it's now currently with all project and being run in production or being developed, everything started with simple use cases such as obtaining the transactions history, the rewards, and the simple and the accumulated forms. By the way, a little off top, you got a great YouTube tutorial out there, and I really recommend it for everyone who will view this video. So yeah, but as Alex already mentioned, so further we're planning to implement the analytics logic, and yeah, as there are many parachains that we're connected to, we're expecting quite a vast amount of requests and a great need for potential code and infrastructure optimizations. So performance related challenges are expected, yeah, and somehow we'll have to deal with that. Yeah, this is probably the first challenge that we're going to face. The second challenge is the one that we're facing right now. It's caused by the reason that we're trying to connect as many parachains as possible. So it's related with the custom types that every parachain is having. Yeah, and it's not really possible to just change the endpoint out there in the project and like make it start indexing. So it's more usually fails with an error, type error in that case. And if we're able to solve it by ourselves, we're really happy. But if we're not, so we always have to somehow communicate with other teams and discuss what are the potential like solutions for that. And it's about the communication also. Yeah, and the third challenge is about the deployment of all our SubQuery projects for every distinct parachain. So yeah, this is still an open issue, and we're working on that. Yeah, it's probably important to say that the majority of our projects are being hosted on your infrastructure. So yeah, we're using the CI tools like available there and trying to like make the deployments as fast and smooth as we can. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not many customers that have as many projects as you do. And so that CLI tool that we've worked with Darwinia, another customer, to kind of build is going to change the game a bit for you guys and make it a lot easier to automate that build pipeline as new projects get released, which is all part of our work that we're doing to improve features specifically for large customers like Fearless Wallet, whether that's automated deployment pipelines, whether that's geographic routing for multiple different clusters of SubQuery nodes to maintain uptime, whether that's important performance improvements with dedicated databases and nodes specifically for customers like yourself. It's all part of that family of enterprise feature improvements that we're working on. But that's all part of the fun, right?
Yeah, that's great fun. And we also have to deal somehow with the monitoring of the health of all the projects. So this is still an issue that we're working on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's one that we know that people are asking for. So expect to see some things come out of this soon around the monitoring. It's on our roadmap. So is there anything that you can share with the community around what's coming next in Fearless Wallet? You mentioned vast improvements to the staking areas and different networks and parachains. Is there anything else of interest that you're looking for or excited about in the crypto world or in Fearless Wallet?
Yeah, sure. I would like to share our nearest plans. Like, actually, there are plenty of updates to look forward to from our team. We are working hard to support all possible parachains of the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystems, while being able to integrate their specialities and various business and customer solutions. A few explains would be actually a few examples would be Moonbeam Moonriver collator staking, Remark NFT set of features, Akala Karura integration, DEX swaps, liquid staking, liquid pool providing staking, Astar Shiden integration, proof of stake, staking, and DApp staking, decentralized exchange. So we look forward to integrating Sora token support and PolkaSwap functionality once the Sora ecosystem becomes a Kusama parachain. And finally, we also look forward to implementing democracy and governance features. So I guess it will be quite busy year for everyone in the team.
It's just like every team in blockchain right now. We're all way too busy, and Yeah, but it's a great industry to be in. My last question, I always ask this to everyone that comes on, is what's your advice for anyone thinking about getting into the blockchain world, any developers who can jump in, get their feet wet? What would be your advice to those people considering a move?
Well, it depends on the exact crypto technology they want to use. Speaking of classic Bitcoin or Ethereum, there are plenty of libraries for almost all of existing platforms that can use. But on the other hand, in Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem, it has less of them, though there are lots of implementations for like scale codec, for different third-party services like yours that helps to dispatch apps faster and easier. And they definitely should Google about what internet can offer them regarding Polkadot and Kusama. And we here in Sormitsu proud of what we're doing for substrate-based networks, and we already have some sort of libraries already developed, and in coming months we're going to rethink and rebuild our armory of the code that we use in our projects. And since we publish our works as an open source, everyone is welcome to look at our code and use it to make their own projects based on it. So simple mobile application for substrate-based networks can be done with that. But in general, there are a lot of web libraries because they are coming first to this world. So using existing instruments on the GitHub, any developer can easily make some kind of D app to connect to different kind of substrate networks.
I'm interested, like you mentioned something there, which was you're trying to make the code as open source as possible so other people can contribute. Does that mean that we could hopefully one day see a Fearless wallet where the different parachains are, for example, committing code that adds new features specific to their parachain into Fearless wallet itself, just like they do with Polkadot.js today?
Well, we generally commit to our code base on everyday basis, and everyone can see it just as we're working. And currently, we have a small set of libraries we use for substrate. It's like scale codec, communicating with the network itself, parsing the runtime metadata, and etc. But now we're thinking of more deep understanding to make more libraries that will help the world to use better code and to help others build easier their applications. So we plan to make separate full documented libraries with special behavior for each task they are created for. Like we will have a separate library for scale codec, which will be separated from the Fearless itself. It will be just single scale library. There will be separate library for communicating with substrate networks, maybe Ethereum-based networks, because we already have Moonbeam and Moonriver, and probably more will come in the nearest future. And so also we'll have different libraries to securely support, to securely store the keys on the devices and securely export and import them, and also some features regarding receiving, like generating QR codes. It's just simple feature, but we're going to put everything on its place. So right now, if we consider some developer using our library, it will be hard for him or her to use it because it's just anything we need in Fearless to make Fearless work. And probably not everyone needs every part of our application to take into their coding experience. But at that time, we believe that we will have a very good set of libraries where a user can navigate through them and see which separate library they need to use to make their lives easier. That's it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much again for taking the time to join me today on this quick call. It was a very enjoyable time talking to you about Fearless Wallet and your plans for the future. And I look forward to talking to you guys all again very soon. So Sergey, Alex, and Boris, thank you very much. And everyone, make sure you check out Fearless Wallet. It's a fantastic application out there. And if you have a lot of Kusama and Polkadot, which I'm sure you do have, and if you don't, hurry up. The prices are great right now. Get involved and get Fearless Wallet on your phone and start collecting all those different assets, all the different Parachains that are launching on a weekly basis. Thanks, guys, for joining, and thank you very much.
Thank you, James. And it was a great pleasure to take part in this meeting and conversation. See you soon.
Pleasure was mine. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, James. Stay fearless and keep your private keys secure.
Very true.